minutes late. And what do you call it? A little bookkeeping. What do you call it? Not bookkeeping, whatever. What does the Olam do with Mincha Ma'ariv nowadays? Meaning tomorrow night, the Kitzer share, right? So
Mincha Ma'ariv is at 8 o'clock.
Right. So the Kitzer share starts officially at 8:10.
Yeah, that's going to be those who daven at 8 o'clock are going to have to come at 8:25 and a little late.
Right. So the question is, I don't know what the question is. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this.
I mean, if you say it's okay, I'll skip it.
No,
I've done it for lesser reasons.
Nothing like the altruistic that we get altruistic, right?
Why don't you do the share early enough to daven Ma'ariv here? Have a break.
What?
The 8:40. You could do.
They're not schlepping out of the house to come here for Ma'ariv. It doesn't make sense.
No, you do the
I'm not worried about myself, Ma'ariv. I'm worried about everybody else.
Oh, so they okay.
What do you say, Rabban?
Nothing. I mean, just
unless.
It's Yaakov. There's a Ma'ariv in my house on demand if anybody wants. It might not be with a minion. It might not be with a minion, but it's on demand. You know what I mean? Rabban can understand.
If you want a quorum, yeah. So I don't know what because in the shul tomorrow night, anyways, the shul they have a wedding, so it's gonna be just Zoom tomorrow night. So I don't know. I don't know what dates it's. Yeah. What's the problem? Trying to figure out Monday nights with the kids of Shulchan Aruch share with Mincha Ma'ariv. That's the. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so.
What are you gonna daven?
What are you worried about me?
What's your business? What this guy's unbelievable.
I said he's worried about everyone else. I'm not to be worried about him.
I got enough minyanim I can go to later.
Not. I'm telling nothing personal. I'm not here at 9 o'clock to hear you talk. I'm just. That's not why I'm here now.
I am a little shocked to hear that.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just call Shir for tomorrow night, 8:25, and then it'll be a shorter Shir. That's probably what we'll do for tomorrow, and we'll figure it out. So the reel is out from 8 to 9. It's only Monday nights, and it's the Kitzur Shir is 8 from. It's only 8 to 9. Yeah. Okay. I may want to start. If I don't know what I'm going to say. This daf at 8:45 because there's 9:30. Is in YFR. Okay, whatever. We'll see.
When
Later.
Tomorrow night?
No, for the next month till I go.
8:45 sounds great.
What about Landau? That was it. No comments. It was just Anyway, we'll see. Okay, so we continue in this Gemara here on Daf Mem Beis Amud Aleph. Yeah, so we just got finished saying, and the Gemara is going to continue with it in tonight's stuff, that if what do you call it? The different. Well, that's not really going to continue tonight's stuff. The different red strings that go on. That there's three different times that there's red strings. One is for the Parah aduma, one is for the Mitzayra, and one is for what do you call it? Sira Mishtaleya, the seer that gets sent out over the cliff. All right, so now we're going to go with, yeah.
Out of curiosity, do we happen to know what a zuz weighs, what a sela weighs, and what these coin weigh?
No, I don't. I was wondering that.
Seems like a lot of string, even to have some weight.
Right. I don't know. It's going to mean 10 coin, 10 zuz. Yeah, 10 zuz.
Yeah, apparently 10 zuz.
10 zuz, I would think. Well, is it a 10 zuz is in one coin, or is it like 10 agora?
No, it's 10 coins. 10 coins.
10 coins. That's got to be pretty heavy.
Yeah. Although it's a light coin, I think it's a copper coin. It's not a silver coin.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what the weight is. Anyways, okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the different shechitas, right? We have the schita of the Parah aduma and the schita of the par of the kohen gadol. And we know that schita is kosher by a zor, right? We know that a yisroel can do the schita. So that's basically what tonight's daf is going to be about. Somewhere Yitzchak, shtei shechitas shamati. I heard about two shechitas. Achas shel parah, achas shel paroi. One is the parah, which is referring to the Parah aduma, and one is talking about paroi, his parah, which Rashi says is the kohen gadols on Yom Kippur. Achas ksheira bezar, v'achas psula bezar. I heard that one of them is kosher if the Yisrael shecht it, and one of them is possible. But lo yadayna heiminayu. Excuse me. But lo yadayna heiminayu. But I don't know which one is which. So
what are the amounts that are going to be in the Gemara tonight? You said like kor, sa, kav, those?
No, that was he was saying from yesterday's Gemara with the zuz, just the weights of money, of coins, not kurs of that was in yesterday's daf. Right at the top of the Amud. Okay, but anyways, so he says he doesn't know which one it is. Which one is kosher? The Parah aduma for Yisrael shechts the Parah aduma, or if the Yisrael shechts the kohen gadols carbon on Yom Kippur.
Where was the kohen gadols carbon shechted again? The Zar could go that far into the base of Migdash?
I don't think it was shechted necessarily in the place that it's supposed to have been shechted, but it's going to be kosher if it was shechted in another place.
I'm sorry. I'm saying the kohen gadols own carbon. It could be shechted anywhere. It could be shechted in the heichal. So not the heichal, where the as is Yisrael, wherever the Yisrael is able to be standing within the perimeter of the base of Migdash.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be ma'akiv.
Okay, I don't know.
Or he does it with a long knife, like we had in last week, right? That he did it with a long knife. Could be that too. Yeah. So anyway, so itmar. So we learned shchitas parah uparoi. The schita of a parah aduma and his parah. Rav Shmuel. It's Rav and Shmuel Chadam, parah psula, parah ksheira. His parah is puzzle. I'm sorry, the parah aduma is puzzle, and the kohen gadols parah is kosher if the Yisrael shecht. Chadamar parah psula, parah ksheira, and one says the opposite. Right, so we don't know who said what. We know Rav and Shmuel having a Machlokes. So Tistayim the Rav who the Amar parah psula. Let's say that it was Rav who's the one that says the Parah aduma is possible. The Amar Rav Zera, Shchita's Parah is Zar psula. Rav Zera said that the Shchita of a Parah with a Zar is possible. Amar Rav Allah, Elazar v'chuka shninuva. It says Elazar and a chayk. It says in the pasuk. It says in the Sadam Elazar Akayim v'Hitzi Yasem v'Chazim Akayim v'Shavat Oisim v'Fana. Right, and then it says later Zois Kukas HaTorah. So you see that it's a chayk, which means it's a law that there's no negotiations with it, and it says Elazar. Right, so Mamela, it has to be Elazar who's a kohen, and it has to be done by a kohen and not by Yisrael. So and Rav is the one that said it. So that must be that Rav's the one that passes for the paradu. Excuse me. Yeah. So for Rav, Maishna Parah to siv Elazar v'choka. Why are you saying Parah that it's possible for Yisrael? Because it says Elazar who's a kohen, and the chukah Parah nami haksiv Aaron v'chuka. By the power of the kohen gadol on Yom Kippur, it also says Aaron HaKohen is the one that's supposed to do it, and it also says it. And Rashi brings the pasuk. Why is it Zos lachem lechukas oilim lechaper avnei Yisrael? So it says it's a chukah over there too, right? So it has the same requirements that Rav is saying would make a Yisrael puzzle by the Parah aduma have the same requirements by the kohen gadol's Parah. So when I answer schita lav avodah, the schita is not avodah. Right? It can't be that the chukah, the word chayk, is going on schita. Schita is not considered an avodah. So therefore it would be mutter for Yisrael. So ihachi paranami. So why don't you say that a parah also is not a parah aduma? It's not an avodah. Parah aduma is not a carbon, right? All the parah aduma is that you have to burn a parah to get the ashes to sprinkle on people that are tummy mace. It's not a carbon. So parah nami says like when it's a shani parah, the kache bedek kabayis. You know, parah is different because it's kache bedek kabayis, right? So therefore, it doesn't have any kedusha of a mizbeach whatsoever. Yeah, because they don't even shecht the parah aduma, right? Rashi says they shechted in the harazesa, right? So therefore, all the avodas are equal there, and therefore you can't have a yid do it. So the Gemara says, well, if a lav kol news, then it should be a kol shekain, right? If it's not considered an avodah, it's only kache bedek kabayis and not kache mizbeach, and it should be a kol shekain that it should be kosher for a zar. It's the same thing as seeing negoyim, seeing when you have to check out the tzaras, right? If somebody gets tzaras, you have to bring it to the kohen, and the kohen has to claim that it's tzaras. So it says there, v'huva al aron a kohen, has to be brought to aron a kohen. The lav avodah, he ubai kahuna, right? It's not an avodah, and you know who has to check it out. You can't bring it to a tzaras. You don't bring the tzaras to a dermatologist, right? You got to bring it to a kohen. So you see by tzaras, even though it's not an avodah, it has to be done by a kohen, right? So too the parah aduma, even though it's not an avodah, it has to be done by a kohen. That's Rav's opinion. Yeah.
What's the kashan answer here? Isn't it obvious?
Yeah,
the whole parah aduma is not an avodah, the burning. So is this Gemara asking that the burning should be allowed to do with the zar?
The burning? No, I'm not saying the burning. He's asking about
why not? What's the difference? The whole thing's not an avodah.
The burning's going to be on Amud Beis. We're going to get to the burning soon. Right now, we're just dealing with schita.
But wouldn't this answer the whole thing?
Why?
None of the parah aduma is an avodah. And if the Torah says by a non-avodah it has to be done with a kohen, chukah, the schita is the same as the burning. There's no difference.
What? I understand what you're saying.
What's the kol shekain here? Gemara answers kache bedek kabayis, meaning it's, and therefore the whole avodah should be allowed without a kohen.
No, whether the whole avodah, maybe.
What do you do with chukah?
Enochanami. It's you're just going to say that it's going. You're just going to say that the word chukah is going on everything else, not on shita. That's what you have to say.
There's no difference between the schita and anything else.
There is a difference.
Why should there be any difference? None of it's avodah. The whole thing's bedek kabayis.
From the kal v'chomer, you should say
it's right. It's a kal v'chomer. From the kal v'chomer, from the.
If we don't say chukah, right? If we don't say chukah by his own parah, which is kedusha, Rashi says, which is kedusha zagov. So kol shekain, something that there is no kedusha zagov.
The kal v'chomer we're going to say is only.
I don't understand. By kedusha zagov, what's the difference? When the Gemara says by the kabayis, what's the answer? By kochei aguf, right? All kochei aguf has to be the avoidus of kochei aguf has to be done by a kohen. Shecht is not an avoidus; it doesn't have to be done by a kohen. There's no chukah on that. Whereas parah aduma, which is kochei bedek kabayis, the whole way through. If it says chukah, it goes on the whole way through.
Correct.
There's no kol shekain now.
Right, but now the Gemara asks, and it should be a kol shekain. Right?
A kol shekain of what? Something that's not an avodah.
Because
is not included in chukah.
If the kohen gadols parah can have a yisroel shechted, then a kol shekain
because
is a parah aduma.
Why? Because that's not included in the chukah.
Correct.
Because it's not an avodah, right? So let's extrapolate that to parah aduma. There's no avodah at all.
No, it's just schita.
Is burning an avodah? It's bedek kabayis.
But the burning of the kohen gadol is
no, parah aduma. Burning of the parah aduma.
What's the difference? We're asking on the parah aduma from the kol shekain, a kal v'chomer from the parah of the kohen gadol.
Right, but the difference that we made already is the difference between bedek kabayis and kochei aguf. Kodshe Aguf, there's such a thing as avoida. Avoida has to be done by a kohen. Not avoida does not have to be done by a kohen. By Beda Kabayis, there is no such thing as avoida. There's no avoidance hakarbanis by Beda Kabayis. So now there's no difference between schita and streifa.
Except that you have a kal v'chomer that shita should include a zar.
The Beda Kabayis already got out of that. There's no kal
No, it
shekain
didn't.
now.
It didn't. When did it get it? That was Beda Kabayis independent. We weren't comparing Beda Kabayis to the Parah of the kohen gadol.
No, Beda Kabayis means the whole Parah aduma is Beda Kabayis.
Correct. But now we have the kohen gadol.
So now if there's no meaning, there's no difference between the schita and the other parts of Parah aduma. Whereas by Parah of kohen gadol, there is a difference between the schita and the rest. By Parah aduma, there's no difference between schita and the rest of the other.
No, now we're saying that there should be a difference.
But the answer was that there is no difference. The kasha on that is there should be a difference. Kol shekain only to schita.
Yes.
That's what we just said Chukah was talking about. The whole avodah Parah aduma has Chukah, whereas the whole part of the kohen gadol does not have Chukah.
Correct.
So you're asking on the Torah says Chukah, we have a kal v'chomer against the Torah's Chukah?
Yes, yeah. I think so.
I mean, the answer is Chukah. The Torah says it. The Gemara doesn't say that's the Gemara's answer.
The Chukah
answer we compare it to the Goyim.
The Chukah is not going on the
It
shita.
happens. The Torah says things, it happens. Get on with it.
The chukah is going on the shita, and the chukah is not going on the shita. That's what you have to say.
Mechatesi, the chukah is going on the whole avodah. The same as it's going on the whole avodah of the part of the kohen gadol.
Okay, we got to go weiter. But you can hang on at the end and we'll fight it out.
See, Yaakov.
I beat you to it, Parrot. Yeah.
Why, if the schita on Yom Kippur is not an avoida, what were we getting all excited about? The kohen, he does half the schita, then he has to run and grab the cleat to do the Kabbalah. Why didn't he just stand there and take a nap while the Yisrael shechts?
Right. Didn't we ask something?
Getting all excited about?
Right. Didn't we ask something like that? That why not have why does he need somebody to finish it off? Memonoshach, right? No, but that's not going to answer your question. I don't know.
I don't know. Can do it. Like
you're right. I hear your kasha. I hear it's yeah. Okay, so let's see weiter. But anyway, so that's Shita's Rav, right? That the Parah aduma is not kosher by a Yisrael, and the Parah of the kohen gadol is kosher. Ula Shmuel, yeah, we're around 10, 12 lines over the bottom. Shmuel damar Parah psula, and according to Shmuel, that says the Parah aduma is kosher, the Parah of the kohen gadol is possible. Ma'ishna Parah to save Aaron b'chukah. So by Parah, if this is going to be the same Gemara, just the opposite. Right? Why does it say? So why are you saying that the kohen gadol's Parah has to have? It can't be Yisrael because it says Aaron v'chukah. Parah nami hoksiv alaza v'chukah. Parah also says alaza v'chukah. Well, answer Shani Yosem the siv shachat oisa. I'm sorry, the shachat oisa lefonav. Yes, the shecht, the Parah aduma lefonav in front of him. Sheyazar shaychit ve'alaza raya. All you need is that a yid can Yisrael, not a yid. A Yisrael could shecht it. I mean, it is a yid, but I'm saying. The yid was never part of it was always a yid. That wasn't the shaila, right? It was a Yisrael or a kohen, right? Zar shaykhet v'lazaraya. The pasuk saying that the zar shechts and the lazar sees it. Okay, so for Rav, what is Rav going to do with that pasuk? Because Rav holds that a zar is not allowed to shecht it. So he says shelo yasiyach taitem. What it means, shachat oisel lefonav, is that he can't be masiyach das. Now he has to make sure that the parah aduma doesn't become tameh. That's what that pasuk's telling you. Okay, so Shmuel, how's he going to know that? The Shmuel shelo yasiyach taitem minale. How does he know that you can't be masiyach das in parah aduma? Afkalei mi b'saraf es ha'parah le'enov. He learns it out that he should burn the parah in front of it, in his eyes, literally, right? Before his eyes. Right? So that tells you that you can't be masiyach das in it. Okay,
why should there be a difference between v'shachat lefanov and v'saraf lefanov?
I mean, why should it be a difference? He has to make sure that even
it's
by
the same idea. Who has to do v'saraf? Why doesn't he have v'saraf? Oh, so Zar could do v'saraf.
Well, so really the Gemara is going to say it's a tzricha, so why it needs both, really, right? I don't know if that's your question, but the Gemara is going to say Let's see. Rav chad b'shchita v'chad b'sreifa. Rav says no. One is talking about for shchita, and one is talking about for sreifa. Right? Meaning you need to tell it to you twice. The tzricha. Why do you need to say it twice? Because if the Torah just said you need to pay attention to it by schita, because it's the beginning of the avodah. Have a sreifa, aim aloi, but sreifa you would say, okay, it's not the beginning of the avodah, so you're already well on your way. So tzricha, that's why it needs to say that no, even the sreifa you have to pay attention to. Okay, so what about the other way around? Because of Rahman of sreifa, and if the Torah would have written it by sreifa, mishum tahashtahu the miskasher parah. When is the parah actually becoming kosher to become a parah? Once you burn the ashes, now you have the ashes to mix in with the water, and then you could sprinkle it on the tummy base. But schita aim aloi. But schita would say, what do you need it for? Right? It's not the end product. So tzricha, that's what you need to say to pesukim to tell you that you have to make sure you're not masiyach das from it. Okay, so then the Gemara says, so what's it coming to exclude? Meaning, which parts of the parah aduma don't need you to pay attention to, right? We're saying now that the schita of the parah aduma and the sreifa of the parah aduma require you to pay attention. Fine. So what other avodas are we excluding that you don't have to pay attention to? So if you say that it's coming to exclude the gathering of the ashes and filling up the water in order to make it kiddush here means to mix it, right? It's an interesting choice of words, right? But that's what it's coming to exclude, that those don't need you to pay attention. Now we're on top of bays. So the mishmeres l'meinida ksib, that says, it says l'mishmeres for meinida. Meinida means holy water. It says l'mishmeres for meinida. So obviously it needs to be watched. So that you can't say that those things don't need you to be watched. So Ella lemute hashlochas eitz erez ve'ezek shnisa las. The lav guf with the parah in it comes to exclude throwing the wood and the the cedar and the azov. That's the hyssop, right? We were looking for the word yesterday, right? The hyssop, shnisa las, and the red string. The lav guf with the parah, that's not part of the parah. Those are all the, what do we call those again? Accessories. We go there, right? Those are all accessories to the parah aduma. So therefore, those don't need shmira. So that's what it's coming to exclude. So basically, what comes out is that the schita, the burning, the mixing it with the water, the drawing the water, all need to be. You have to pay attention to it. But anything having to do with the accessories does not need you to pay attention to it.
What does that mean?
Meaning you don't have to make.
They order it from Amazon. No, the client doesn't do it. What is it?
You got to make sure it still doesn't become tummy, right?
That's what I thought.
But I guess there's no specific mitzvah to pay attention to it. No? I mean,
can any of those become tummy?
What?
Can any of those things become tummy?
I would think. I mean, in the Metzias, Pshutei Kliyetz.
Yeah, and Hilchas Tuma, yeah. It's not even Pshutei Kliyetz. There's no Bilim here.
It's not a Kli, right? It's Pshutei Eitz.
I thought it was going on the action. I was going to ask how on earth you can do a physical action with Hesach Hadas. How is it even possible?
What?
Right. No, I'm saying how you
can't throw something into a fire while you're being Mesiach Das against throwing it into a fire.
Gershon, you'll excuse me, but yes, Rabbi Stone, you can walk while you're pitching. You can have Hesach Hadas while you're doing a physical action, okay?
Then he didn't pitch.
No, you can have
if you throw it into a fire, don't throw it in. That's not a problem of Hesach Hadas. That's a problem of not throwing it in.
Rabbi, you left yourself open to somebody to say that pitching is a mindless thing. You left yourself very open for that. Baseball is mindless. No?
The guy's never seen it. No, so what should I tell you?
You could have a Maisa Kaif Balma. You consider it not something that has intention, even if it's not. Forget about. I'm saying that you could you make distinction between doing a Maisa and doing a Maisa where you have some type of concentration on it. Somebody wears tefillin or something like that. You could lose concentration on what you're doing.
There's nothing in between having kavanah b'mesiach das.
You could do something and not have and know what you're doing. There's an idea
Why
of
not?
that.
Well, it depends. If you want to go with the makilim, then we're when you read Shema, it's an automatic kavanah. Right? The big
Fine.
clue that Baruch Hashem. we
Fine,
all
but
rely
there's
on
plenty
that
of people that do things by rote. There's plenty of people do things by rote. Forget about mitzvahs.
No, but so
There's
by
plenty of
road,
people
so
do-
how is it? So Akiva, so how you every night to Kriya Shema?
We're not talking about my Judaism right now.
I'm
I'm
not
just
talking
saying
about you.
when you
I didn't
drive
mean
a
you.
car,
I'm
I'm just saying when you drive a car in the morning and you have and you're just floating through driving your car, you're not having kavanah when you drive that car. That's not called
Fair
having
enough.
kavanah.
Fair enough.
You're also not being Mesiach Das from driving a car.
I would say you are being Mesiach Das. Yes, many people are Mesiach Das while they're driving. Just take a look at the morning on Beach 9.
Yeah. Yes, I hear. Okay, I don't know exactly what it means to be Masiyah does, not Masiyah does. Yeah, fine. Okay. Let's see about the itma. Shchita's parah bizarre. So again, a schita of a parah by a zar. Rav Ami Omar Ksher. Rav Ami says it's kosher. Rav Yitzchak Nafka Omar Psula, and he says it's psula. And Ula Omar Ksher, Amri La Psula. And Ula says it's kosher, and some say that Ula said it's possible. So now we got a machlokes all the way around, and we even have a machlokes what Ula said. Right? But the bottom line is, the end of the day, the machlokes is whether Parah aduma is kosher for a zar or not. Right? Which we had said before that Rav holds that a zar is possible. So Rav seems to be going like Rav Yitzchak Nafka over here and one version of Ula. So Gemara is going to ask this long kasha now on asking a long kasha on Shmuel, who holds that it's kosher, and it's a proof to Rav. So Masar of Yeshua bar Abba l'siyuah Rav. He asked the kasha on Shmuel to bring a proof to Rav. The Gemara says, "Ein li ela hazar, meimeh she'ein kshein b'isha kibeish." Right? I only know that hazas meimeh to sprinkle the water. If she'ein kshein b'isha kibeish, it's not kosher if a woman does it, like it's kosher for a man, that a man does it. Right? And we also know that you have to sprinkle on the tummy during the day. You can't do it at night. So there's two givens over here. A woman can't sprinkle the water on top of the person who's tummy, and it can't be done during the day. How do I know that that during the day all these things have to be done during the day? Torah. So therefore it teaches us Torah. So the word says the word Torah. So therefore Torah means what is the literal translation of Torah? A teaching, right? Or halacha. So that it all has the same halacha and they all have to be done today. So you would think that it also would include gathering the ashes from the fire and then filling up the water and then mixing the water and the ashes. So you would think that also has to be done during the day. Zeus. It says Zeus. Zeus means these, meaning the previous 5 things that we were talking about, not the filling up of the water and not the mixing the water and not the gathering the ashes. And that tells you that stuff doesn't have to be done during the day. That could be done at night. So basically what we have here is we have a bunch of avodas for the Parah aduma. You have schita, being makabel the blood, sprinkling the blood towards the Beis HaMikdash, burning it, putting in the 8 eres of shnita las, that's 5, and then you have to gather the ashes, fill up the water, and then mix it, right? So for 5 of those, we're saying they have to be done during the day. The last 3 don't have to be done during the day, right? Because it says Zeus, only these. So now the Gemara is going to ask the obvious question. Why are you including these during the day and excluding these? Right? Why? Who says which ones go which way? So Gemara says, right? Since the pasuk is including things in the word Torah, and it's excluding things by saying Zeus only this, Amrit, so we're going to say, so you would think you learn everything out from the sprinkling of the water. Just like the sprinkling of the water is not kosher for a woman, like it is kosher for a man. It's not kosher only during the day. So I'm going to bring all those 5 avodas, since they're not kosher for a woman to do them. Those are all kosher during they're only kosher during the day. And I'm going to exclude asifas efra, and I'm going to exclude gathering the ashes and the milamayim and kiddush, since they are kosher for a woman to do like a man. So they're also going to be kosher night and day. So basically, what the Gemara is saying is that these things are going to be totally in if it's kosher for a woman to do it. The things that's kosher for a woman to do are going to have to be done during the day. The things that it's kosher for the things that it's possible for a woman to do have to be done during the day. I apologize about that. Again, the things that are possible for a woman to do, which is schita, kabbalas dama, hazah, sreifasa, putting in all the things, those are all possible for a woman to do. Therefore, they have to be done during the day. But filling up the water, gathering the ashes, and mixing it all together, that's kosher for a woman. Therefore, it's also kosher at night. So now, what's the kasha behind my tiyufta? Right?
When where is she doing this lady?
I don't know. Just as long as she doesn't have a lace shaitel.
I'm just saying we just
had to throw that in there.
We just had the Pasha Saita and told Kavoid Bas Melech Panimi. Now she's doing stuff at night when it's dark.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know what type of 100%. I don't know how this lady got herself in there. But yeah. So whatever it is, you see from this that a woman is possible to do the schita, right? And a yisroel. What are we going to say with that? So you see that it's, what do you call it? It's at a man, right? Isn't, one second. Through this whole, it's a long kasha, you lose track of what it's trying to do. Right? It's kasha by isha kebe'ish, ksherin na'aviyam v'layla. Right? So therefore, what are you going to say? So the Gemara says, Bahai mai. What are you trying to say? Bahai mai tiyufta. What exactly is your question here? What's your kasha on Shmuel here? If you're going to say that if it's possible for an isha to shecht it and do the other things, then it's also possible for a azar, then sprinkling the blood is going to prove it. Right? Shapsulim be'isha, that's possible be'isha, ksher and bazar, that's kosher by azar. Right? So meaning the two are not intertwined. So that can't be the kasha. So Amar Abaya, Haini Tuyufta, this is the kasha on Shmuel. Right? Isha my timer, what's the reason why a woman can't shecht the parah aduma? A lazar, because it says a lazar should do it, v'lo isha. So zar nami, a lazar v'lo zar. So you're gonna have the same diak. Meaning, how do you know a woman can't do the schita? Because it says in the pasuk a lazar has to do it and not a woman. So it says also a lazar has to do it and not a zar. So you see that a zar is not allowed to shecht it, and that's a kasha. That's a kasha on Shmuel.
Why don't we say the same exact drasha legabe azar? Don't we learn out that the whole reason why a woman can't do hazah is from the drasha of Elazar? The fact that it says Elazar. So why don't we say that? Lamaisa, we say that azar is kosher to do hazah.
We say the zar is what?
Is that zar? Where do we know that the isha is not able to do hazah?
How do we know an isha is not allowed to do hazah?
Yeah.
I would think if she can't do schita, she can't do hazah. That's what I don't know. That's what I would think. No?
It's not drasha from a pasuk?
I don't know if it's from a pasuk or not. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
All right, that's what I think. But I weiß nicht. Okay, so anyway, so that's the kasha. That's a kasha on Shmuel and a proof like Rav that a zar is not allowed to shecht the paradu. Fine. So Omar Ula, Kola Parsha Kula.
By the way, can I butt in for a second? Pasuk by Parah aduma says V'lokach ezoi v'tafel b'mayim ish torah. The Hizah.
Oh,
The pasuk says that a man has to do it.
you're saying it's a fair pasuk. Say that's okay. I'll keep it. So I guess it's a pasuk. Yeah, but that ish means lav dafka kohen.
Right. There just has to be a man.
Yeah.
Torah, yes, we Torah, ish Torah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Zomar Ula, Kol Parsha Kula Mashma Maitzi Miya. Okay, this is one of the hardest lines of Gemara to say over. I'm going to try, and I botched it a few times already today to myself. Here we go. Omar Ula, Kol Parsha Kula, the entire parsha of Parah aduma, Mashma Maitzi Miyad and Mashma Maitzi Miyad Mashma Umashma Memela. I think that's the way it goes. Yes. Again, mashma, maitzi, miyad, mashma. Sometimes it's mashma something. Mashma, how do you say mashma?
What?
Yeah, it implies that it's excluding something. And then sometimes it's mashma, it just implies that it's memela. Right? And that it's just, that's the way it is, but it's not excluding anything. Okay? Meaning there's a long parsha. Really, we should take out a chumash and go through the whole parsha here to clearly understand what's going on here. But the Gemara is going to analyze all the pesukim now. Some of them, the Gemara says there's specific reason why the Torah says it, and therefore it's excluding. Right? And other things we say, no, there's nothing to be mashma.
Is this why part of them
Right.
is like this line of Gemara right here?
That's a good point. I'm totally saying maybe that's what Parah aduma is a chayk, because you don't know when to make a diak, when not to make a diak. I hear. So again, Amar Ula, Kala Parsha Kula, the entire Parsha of Parah aduma, Mashma, Maitzi.
Totally, that's very good. That's why the means a lady can do it, because we don't understand anything about. So
Yeah, maybe because we said a lady can do it because we don't understand anything about it. Anyways, so that is a mashma maitzi miyad mashma. It can be mashma that it's excluding something. Mashma mela, it can be mashma mela. Okay, so now it goes through. And you give, right? So you give the parah aduma to Elazar HaKohen. Only that parah aduma, meaning the initial parah aduma that happened, that goes to Elazar, right? And not for the future generations to Elazar. Yeah. So some say, what does that mean? That means for the future generations, whenever they bring a parah aduma, it goes to the kohen gadol. Means the kohen hedget. Some say no, even a kohen hedget can do that. Right? It doesn't. So it's a machlokes whether it has to be done by kohen gadol or a kohen hedget. So bishlam l'madam l'doira is the kohen hedget shaper. So if you say that doira means a kohen hedget, right? So then that would be good, right? Because it doesn't say. So it doesn't say anything. It just says not to Elazar the first one, and after that not. So why should you think it's kohen gadol? It could be any kohen. Elamandam l'doira is the kohen gadol. How do you know it's a kohen gadol? So Gemara answers, Gomar chuka miyom kippurim. No, because we learn out the word chuka from Yom Kippurim. Just like it says chuka by Yom Kippur, and the whole Yom Kippur has to be done by a kohen gadol. So too it says chuka by Parah aduma. So the whole thing has to be done by the kohen gadol. Right? Then the Gemara says, v'haitzi isa, and you bring it out. Right? You bring the Parah aduma out. You shouldn't bring out two animals. Just bring out the Parah aduma, because now we learned in the Mishnah. Right? Let's say the parah is smart and it doesn't want to leave the corral, right? You got your parah aduma there. He knows exactly where he's headed to. He doesn't want to leave, right? So you don't bring a black animal out with it, meaning because maybe if you take its friend with it, so maybe it'll go. You're not allowed to do that. So that the people shouldn't say that you're really going to shecht the black one and not the parah aduma. So you don't bring out a black one. Aduma. And you don't bring out a red one. So we don't say that they're really shechting two kavanas. Right? So Rabbi Omer, he disagrees. Loimen Hashem huzeh. That's not the reason why. Loimen Hashem means that's not the name, literally, but it means that's not the reason why they don't take out 2 paras. It says in the pasuk "Oisa," which sounds like you have to take it out. It is singular and means you only take that animal out and nothing else out. So he says it's a gzeres hakosov. Now the Tanakama was just saying practically, so people don't make a mistake. So the Tanakama haksiv Oisa. What does the Tanakama do with the word Oisa? Man Tanakama Reb Shimoni. The Tanakama is Reb Shimon. The Darish Tami Dekra. Reb Shimon holds that even though the pasuk says something, we're still going to darshan the timer Dekra. Okay, so my benai, what's the practical difference between the shitas? Bottom line is you're not allowed to bring out 2 paras. You only bring out 1 para. One says it's exeris hakosov, but one says it's just practical. The difference between them is the apik chamor bahada. Can you bring out a chamor, a donkey, not another para with it? Bring out a chamor, right? So the Tanakama holds it's fine because nobody's going to think that you're shechting a chamor, right? But according to the Reb Shimon, who says that it's oisa, you got to take it out with no other animal, then you're not allowed to take it out either, right? Fine. Okay, I guess we'll stop here. We're in the middle of this whole Josh. It lasts pretty much the whole Amud Aleph, going through the entire pasuk. If the Olam has a chance, they want to look at the parsha because it goes through the pesukim, then it might make it a little easier on the Olam. If not. So okay. So tomorrow night, I'll text out what time the kids are share will be figured out. And yeah, fine. Good enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yaakov,
Yes, sir.
your mother offered a kid a ride home because his father's not done till 10 o'clock, and Sharyashavi said he doesn't. It's yichud, and he doesn't think he can get a ride home with her.
Is that so?
It's not in bar mitzvah yet. How gewaldic is that?
He has
But
a
the
very
mom is-
bright, he has a
they-
very
they-
bright future.
They made him Miss Sugar, even he's before Bar Mitzvah. Your yeshiva's already made him Miss Sugar. Can you imagine when he's a 16-year-old bacher? Wow.
The Baron, I said he has a very bright future.
Right, you're right.
But can you imagine? And Rachi's like, it's not a problem. You can go to Inwood. Go.
Just patch him now.
And this guy listened to the psak of Rachi.
I think so. Listen.
That's
let me
pretty
tell
good.
you,
Maybe
I was gonna
Rachi
say,
should be the one.
They taught him
maybe
something.
Rachi
They taught him
maybe
something. That the wrath of the woman you don't want to mess with.
On the day she's making a simcha, don't argue with her.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Can you imagine? 12-year-old.
Parrots, I'm surprised you say anything about the last line of Gemara we just learned. Seems to be a gzeres hakosov pointed at mamish today's generation. You bend over backwards so that people won't say there's a bias against shchayras.
Yeah, I hear.
We're still recording. Gershon, if you ever want to make any money, you have me delete it. Or else you're gonna be woke and canceled and woke again and canceled. Can you imagine how many times? Worse than the kids on what do we just finish? Shmuel. How many times can they wake you in middle and then you cancel and you woke you?
Parrots, what's the leftover matzah?
Aaron, I have no idea. Mamish, I got a little baby chicken left.
That's it?
That's
Wow.
Parrots, what does that mean? Parrots, there was a whole tray when I was leaving.
it. Yeah, I can see.
Yaakov,
There's a whole
I was there in the beginning. There was a lot more than a few trays.
Yaakov,
That was before parrots ate anything.
I had a guy come in. He goes, "I'm on my 5th hamburger. Is any more left?"
Gershon, I was there before Parrots was dressed. Yeah.
Everybody. I'm trying to tabulate exactly what we went through.
Good luck with that.
Kanai 3 whole briskets gone. That's done. I forgot. I think like 150.
That was just the immediate family.
This is whoever came. No, 150 hamburgers. I think 100 beef hot dogs, 85 chicken hot dogs, 40 pounds of dark chicken, and 30 pounds of fried chicken.
Parrots, you did all right there. Not bad for KFC.
Yeah, it was gewalt. The mamish was gewalt. The best.
Getting hungry again.
Everybody loved the stuff that was pre-cooked by somebody else. The schnitzel is the best. You fried it? Absolutely.
Not.
You know, there was a cousin named Moshe Mindik who lives in Woodmere. A cousin of ours. His name is Moshe Mindik. He's a Lubavitcher. He teaches in Hank. Peretz Shver brought him over.
What does that mean? Whose kid is he?
He's Yingi. You remember, you know the Yingi?
Yeah, sure.
He's an anicle of Yingi. Ingi.
And his last name is Mindik?
And his name is Moshe Mindik. And he's got a beard the size of Mount Rushmore.
Get out of here.
Yep. I gave him beer. We had, it was, he took food.
1 second, Yaakov, who's his father?
I didn't get it straight who his father was. I didn't get it straight.
The previous Rabbi Mendik.
Was it Yingi's name was Mindik?
Ingi is his father.
Ingi is his father or his grandfather?
His father.
Oh, his father.
Yeah, Ingi got remarried apparently.
How old is Ingi?
Pretty old.
He was 150.
No, Paris, how old is he?
I didn't want to ask because I wasn't sure if he was alive. So I couldn't really continue the conversation.
No, his father died. His other brother's an Arab.
Oh, really?
What?
Who was next on Jerry Springer?
1 second. Yaakov Ingi was Zadie's brother?
Yes. Yeah. He did the chalitza on Tanta Rachel.
That's who it was. Okay.
Yes.
No. So Ingi remarried. Apparently, Ingi remarried a lady who was a Giores.
But Ingi didn't talk to Zadie or something, right? There was something like that.
I don't know that information.
How come we don't remember seeing him ever?
Apparently, there's another boy out there too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He's going after the gelt.
He could fight with Uncle Shimshon and Devi. He could get on that fight.
Wow.
Shimshon's still fighting that too. Terrible.
Yaakov, can we get back into the previous fight?
I was hoping you'd forget.
Oh, here we go.
This is much more
Liner's leaving. Liner's leaving. He's not into that.
We have the Gershon Russell at 10 o'clock on CNN Live.
Instead of Hannity, we got this. All right, everybody. Have a good day.
Have a good night, Aaron.
Good night.
Yeah, so go ahead. Go ahead, Gershon. Hit me with your best shot.
So the Gemara asked originally what?
I don't know where my mother is. Where is my Parrot's signed off? Shoot, I don't even know where my mother is. Yeah, go ahead.
What was the Gemara's original kasha? Why are they different? Why should the schita of kohen gadol be different than the schita Parah adumah? If the Parah adumah is mutter bizarre, aser bizarre, the schita of the Parah of the kohen gadol should also be aser bizarre. And for the Gemara, what? The schita is not an avodah. Yeah? For the Gemara, that the schita of the Parah adumah is also not an avodah. So why is it different? So the Gemara answers because the Parah adumah is by the kabayis. Right? Already at that point, we know that the chukkah, that the shchita of the part of the kohen gadol is the one part that's not an avodah. So mamela, the chukkah is not going on that; it's only going on the avodah, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the chukkah of Parah adumah is going on the whole Parah adumah because none of it's avodah; it's all bedek kabayis.
Right, but what are you doing with the Kal V'chomer?
There is no Kal V'chomer. Chukah tells me something different. Why would there be a Kal V'chomer?
Isn't it a?
It's now just as good as saying, so I have schita by the power of the kohen gadol. It's not included in chukah because it's not an avodah and it's put to bizarre. Therefore, a zar can pick a kohen's truma because why not? It doesn't work anymore. It's not. It's apples and oranges. You can't make a kal v'chomer from one thing to another.
Right.
I don't understand the kasha of the Gemara. There's no kal v'chomer here.
There is a Kal V'chomer. One thing. There is a kal v'chaymer. The question is, what are you doing with it?
I don't understand why there's a kal v'chaymer at all. We've just said one's by the kabayis, one's kachei aguf, right? So it's now saying, so Rolls Royce is the best car you can buy. John Deere is the best tractor you can buy. So I have a kal v'chaymer from Rolls Royce to John Deere. They're two different ballpark. I mean, there's no kal v'chaymer here. How do you have a kal v'chaymer from kachei aguf to kachei bedek kabayis?
Bottom line is how is it that a kohen gadol doesn't have to shecht his own carbon?
Because he has to do the avodah. What's not an avodah, he doesn't have to do. Same with any other avodah, basically. Like we had by Eitzim. The Atzei Marach is not an avodah, but the Shtei Gizri Eitzim is an avodah. So I'm going to make a kal v'chaymer from one to the other because one has to be with the kohen, the other has to be with the kohen. No shaykhis. One's an avodah, one's not an avodah. Seems to be a little bit like the Dayai, the mission of Dayai. The Chachamim Reb Tarfon arguing what the kal v'chaymer is from Shane to Karen. Is it from Shane to Karen or Karen to Karen?
You're gonna blow my brain with that comparison, man. You're gonna blow my brain.
I'm sorry.
I can't
No,
be here
but it's
about
to
Shane and Karen, man. Start make seventh grade comes back, my heart starts palpitating. I tell you, sheesh.
I hear. No, but seriously, they're one's kachei aguf, one's kachei bedek kabayis. How do you make a kal v'chaymer from one to the next? We found one similarity. Whoopsie do. So what? I can find similarities between avodah Yom Kippur and Hilchas Truma.
Meaning, we're saying it's bedek kabayis, and everything is on the same level. So therefore, we're gonna answer it across the board, right?
Right. That we've already said. Now along comes the Gemara and says, Kol shekain you have a kal v'chaymer. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
How do you ask a kal v'chaymer from kachei aguf to kachei bedek kabayis?
No, so one second. So that's what it's saying. That bedek kabayis. Then what says v'lav kol shekainu?
Before you get to that point, of v'lav kol shekain, when the Gemara says it's bedek kabayis, what does it mean? That means that the chukah of partial kohen gadol is going on the avodah because it's kachei aguf. It can't go on what's not the avodah. That's like saying, now the kohen gadol should raise it from birth. He doesn't have to do that. It's not an avodah. Schita is also not an avodah, so he doesn't have to do it. There's no chukah. Whereas by Parah aduma, the whole thing's kachei bedek kabayis, so the whole thing has to be done by the kohen gadol. That's what chukah tells me. Frankly, Gemara, I have a kal v'chaymer against the pasuk. From what? Kachei aguf to kachei bedek kabayis, and it's against the pasuk. I don't understand what's going on here. First of all, you can't have a kal v'chaymer against the pasuk. The answer of the Gemara should be that's why you need a pasuk, because you have a kal v'chaymer, and for the Gemara, pasuk says not like that. Second of all, you're asking for kal v'chaymer from kachei aguf to kachei bedek kabayis. What kind of kal v'chaymer is that?
I don't know. I hear.
We ask kal v'chaymer from something which is a din meiser deraisa to something which is a din meiser drabanan. Can make such a kal v'chaymer?
I don't know.
All right. Any good shilas recently?
I was thinking that I should send you. Any good shilas? I mean, now that you want onion shilas or
No, I'm not good enough with onions. Onions, you rely on the base mayor or not? It's not really.
shilah. Not ben yoimei, knife
Yeah.
cutting. Put into a not.
Well, when you say not ben yoima, you mean aina ben yoima.
Yes, it's an aina ben
As in
yoimei.
not nice and town ben yoima. Yeah.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
Aina
ben yoima fleshige knife.
Yes.
Cuts an onion. Okay.
Put into an aina ben yoimei milk kapat.
Oh wow. But milchige pot, fleshige knife to milchige pot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the base mayor.
Correct. Now, should you be samach on the base mayor, not the kasher?
Not to kasher the pot. I mean, I don't know. I always learned these. I know, I'm aware that I kind of learned these sugyas wrong. I mean, if you do it with the ravid, you can be oimed on the blias. You're dealing with a tiny amount of blias to go into a pot. So what do I have now? Oh, one second. It went into the pot. So I now have, at worst, I have blias of basar, side by side blias of chalav in the doifnei k'deira.
Right.
When they come out again, they're not barnat. They can't make isser.
Again, what are you saying?
In that scenario, what else was in the pot with the onions? When he put the onions into the pot, were they by themselves?
Yes.
So then don't I end up with
soup?
Yeah, but before that scenario, don't I end up with separate blias?
You gonna make seltzer? Any cold seltzer or ice? What do you say? I'm sorry.
Don't we end up with separate blias in that case? You have blias of basar and blias of chalav in the doifnei k'deira. There's no basar b'chalav yet. They don't mix without liquid.
Right.
So I have not barnat, whatever happens.
Correct, but you have not barnat and
of hetera, not barnat of hetera.
And Eina ben Yoimei.
But even without the Eina ben Yoimei, let's say it's all ben Yoimei, what do I have? Even if it's all ben Yoimei, I have blias of heter went into the onion. That they go into the pot from the onion, and they don't mix with the blias of the milchige blias in the pot because there's no liquid. So how do they mix? I don't have basar b'chalav at all. I have separate blias from the fleshig knife, right? So the blias went into the onion.
The onion is flesh.
Fine. So I have blias of meat in the onion. Now I put the onion into the pot.
Yes.
Right? And there's no liquid in it. So the blias go from the onion to the pot without liquid. Those blias can't mix with the blias already in the pot. There's no liquid. So I now have separate blias of chalav and separate blias of basar in the doifnei k'deira. That's not barnat of hetera.
Why is it a teira?
Because where's the isser? There's no mixing of basar and chalav here. Oh, wait, I forgot about the onion. So you're saying blias come out of the kedera, blias of milk come out of the kedera into the onion. So that makes the onion treif,
Mhm.
if it's ben yoimai. Yeah, but those blias, yeah. So the onion, let's say it's all ben yoimai. The onion's treif, everything else is kosher. No? Even if it was all ben yoimai.
What do you want?
Shmuel.
Take a little one.
Gotta go with that.
Shouldn't have gone for that.
Go take him out.
Yeah.
Go take
Just
him
go down
out.
over there.
No, Tzviakov. Am I wrong?
Yeah. What are you timing?
Timing, let's say it was all ben yoimai. Make it all ben yoimai. So forget the base layer. Make it all ben yoimai. A fleshig knife, fleshig ben yoimai knife,
Yeah.
cuts an onion. Now that onion is fleshig,
Correct.
right? Ben yoimai. And then I put that onion into a milchige pot with nothing else in it,
Correct.
right? So those blias of meat go into the pot, the walls of the doifnei akadera, but they don't mix with the blias in the doifnei akadera because there's no liquid. So,
Right.
so I now have side by side in the doifnei akadera, I have side by side blias of basar and blias of chalav. I have basar v'chalav, I don't have basar b'chalav in the doifnei akadera. That's not barnat.
Why? No, it's not. Why is it?
They went into the onion from the knife, and from the onion to the doifnei akadera. That's not barnat, the hetera.
Why? The onion is
Why
a
is it not?
It's a fleshik onion.
Because it has blias of basar. That's a single one knot from the knife to the onion.
Now the
Right.
milchiks went straight into the onion. It's not barnat. Because onions davar
No, I'm
chorus.
saying on the pot.
The pot. What do you want to matter the pot?
Yeah. So you throw the onion out, fine. Throw the onion out. But the pot itself, at worst, has blias of basar and side by side blias of chalav. And the blias of basar are already not barnat.
I hear.
I mean, if we were dealing with a hot potato and no liquid, right? We take out the davar charif from it. If we take out the davar charif, I mean, as far as the pot and the knife are concerned, there's no difference if it's a davar charif or not. Let's say it's hot, right? A hot potato. I cut a hot potato with a fleshig knife. So I have blias of meat in the potato. Then I put that potato with no liquid into a milchige pot. So the blias of basar from the potato go into the pot, the klipa, whatever you want to say, but they don't mix with the blias of chalav in the walls of the pot because there's no liquid here. They can't mix without liquid. Right? Am I correct so far? I don't know if that's the maskana that we come out with. If you have blias go into a pot without liquid, they can't mix with anything. I think that's what we came out with, but I'm not sure. Is that what the maskana is?
That what? That it's that
Blias that go into the doifnei akdera without liquid cannot mix with blias already in the kdera.
Why not? I'm trying to remember.
I thought that was the round. The Beis Yosef brought a whole bunch of rishonim, a whole machlokes, like a four-way machlokes rishonim. What we say. And the Ramban says, I think, that even with liquid, blias don't mix in a kedera. And then you have the Ran that holds that they do when there's liquid, or they might when there's liquid. And then you have other Rishonim that they say that, 1 second, that they always mix. I think that was the Rush. I can't remember. It's too long ago. There was a big Machlokes Rishonim. How, what's it called? How blias mix, if blias mix in the doifnek kedera. I don't know. My memory doesn't serve me so well, but I thought that the Mechaber comes out that in order for blias to mix in the doifen of a kedera, there needs to be liquid in it. It needs to go in with liquid. We say everything.
No, liquid makes it better. Liquid makes it
No,
better.
liquid will make it better because you'll have shishim. But stamazai, what if you don't have liquid? Can blias mix in a kedera?
Why not?
How are they floating around the walls of the kedera? What are they floating around with? Don't we say that the way they go in is through liquid?
Right.
And the liquid goes around the doifnei kedera? That's the shishim pamim shishim. That's that sugya.
But that's if the drops fall into the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same idea. If there's no liquid, it can't mix.
You have traffic, sir?
Yeah, I hear. I don't know.
So we're only dealing with the onion. The onion becomes treif. Fine. Do we then go and say that enough treif blias go back into the doifnei kedera?
That's what I'm not sure about.
All right, sweetie pie. Well,
That's
thank you
Google what
so
I'm not
much
sure
as well.
about.
It seems like a lot of chumrah.
Yeah, I meant to check the
Thanks.
Kitzur's farm and I
Okay,
forgot. I'll have to check. And then you check if you want.
I don't have any of this farm. I'm purely going by memory of what I learned years ago. This is the reason I didn't take Rabbi Forst up on any kind of smicha. I'm not responsible enough. Any kind of shimush, I should say.
I hear.
I had the opportunity and I turned it down. I do feel a little bit bad, but you know what? I think I made the right decision at the end of the day. I'm not rug material. Yeah.
I got a guy here. Fine.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Yashikaya. Yeah.
Back to you. If you
Right,
find
can
cards,
you let me know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember.
What did you tell the guy?
What?
What did you tell him?
I told him, Devaila, I said, I think you should kasher it.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Sag es.
Yashikaya. Good night.